Grant, what do you expect from your first Edinburgh Derby tomorrow?
Going off sort of experienced derbies before, they're always intense. You can feel that the atmosphere that it brings, and for what I've heard about this one, it's right up there. So really look forward to it.
Who's been speaking to you about it this week? And obviously, like St Martin Boyle, he's played in so many of them. Can you ever be prepared for something like this?
No, I think so. I think in general everybody speaks about it. Before you come to a club, when you're at a club, obviously the week leading up to it. But I think you probably just try and recall the experiences that you've been in before. I think everybody in the dressing room's probably played in big games, so sort of recalling those experiences, try and be as calm as you can. It's easier said than done at times, but it's a massive part of it, and there's a level of professional as well going into it as well. You've got to sort of it's different to every other game, but try and treat it as you would.
What's the biggest derby you've played in before?
Probably didn't want to offend any fans of previous clubs, so played in Blackburn, Burnley and Norwich, Ipswich. Both of them were reasonably tense affairs.
And you say tense affairs, are you able to distance from the noise and try and just concentrate on the football? Because Edinburgh this week has been, the whole talk has been about.
No, of course, and I think that's any derby, whatever it is. That's the biggest challenge, and who performs better has got a better chance of winning the game. So again, that level of professionalism as players, you've sort of got to carry that into it and approach it as you would any other game, and do your work during the week. The level of detail that goes into any game now is obviously very high, so cool heads going into the game and try and approach it that way.
You've had this, I would imagine, frustrating run of draws of late. What do you put that down to?
Another one is really sort of difficult to put your finger on one thing. There might be 2-3 different factors going into it. It might be just a bit of a coincidence at times. It sort of happens in football. So I think as players it's important not to get too high or too low. It's important to try and stay level and analyse it and look at the aspects where we could improve, but also keep trying to do the things that brought success before and keep doing what we're good at.
And finally for me then, is this a perfect game, do you think, for you personally, going into 2 huge World Cup qualifiers for Scotland?
I think, again, like I keep saying, I think it's important just to approach these games with a cool head. As also has been aware as exactly what they mean to the club and to the supporters. As I'm sure everybody, all the players will be doing going into this game. But like you said, around the corners, a couple of big games for Scotland, so we've got that to look forward to. But first and foremost, looking forward to Saturday.
Talk about all the draws, but I mean the feeling must be very different from, say, the draw at Falkirk to coming away from Celtic Park and they'll know how much of a confidence boost, particularly in the defence, is getting that clean sheet there. No,
definitely. I think especially as defenders, that's your bread and butter. You want to keep clean sheets. It's what you pride yourself on. But certainly going there and keeping the clean sheets, probably different to others. And I think with the draws as well, there has been probably a fine line where they could be flipped into wins, and if you're sitting with a few more points, and the picture looks probably different. Again, as I said, for players, it's important to try and stay level and not to get too far ahead of yourself when you're doing well, or not too hard on ourselves when we're struggling a wee bit. So we're not exactly where we want to be, but we're also not far away as well.
Hearts have been the most potent attack in the league this year. They've scored the most goals. What sort of a challenge do they present you on Saturday night?
No, of course, and I think they've started the season well, and there's no hiding that fact. But again, for us, we'll approach it like we do every week. As I said before, the level of detail that we go into whoever our opponent's going to be is really high. So I'm sure the lads will be prepared for it.
How well do you know Oran Shanklin from your time together?
Obviously been in a few Scotland squads. I think our kids are similar ages as well, so that's nice. And so yeah, no Lawrence reasonably well.
And what does it take to stop him when he gets his tail up?
No, I think it's, you kind of go into a game, looking at one player. I think they've obviously got goals over the pitch, or so they've shown so far this season. So, again, the detail of looking at and where they can hurt us or where they've hurt teams so far this season is what we try to nullify.
You'll be keen to get back to winning ways, obviously, but is there that little bit more incentive this weekend that it could come against your rivals?
No, I think there's no hiding that. There's always a bit more in these derby games, but 3 points at the end of the day, same as every other week, so that's what we're focusing on.
How competitive have you found this squad compared to any other in terms of keeping your place in the starting lineup every weekend?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's shown again all around the pitch that the lads are. There's competition for places. There's changes in most weeks, and everybody's pushing each other. And I think that's, if you want to be successful, you need that. You need to have players that are pushing each other to do better.
You've had 5 or 6 starts now since you came in here. How pleased are you with where your game's at?
Getting there. I think obviously as a player, you're always looking to do that a bit better. But I think for me especially, I've found throughout my career that as you get a run of games, and as you maybe play 5, 6, 7, 8 games, you sort of get up to speed and your game sort of improves. And I think not just for me, I think that's in general. So reasonably happy, but again also looking to always do better.